welcome back. This past week I got a lot of new subscribers, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who left a comment, who subscribed. I'm just so grateful for every one of you. I'm working on a series of altering index cards. So last week we altered these. They were just a regular index cards, and then we decorated the back with the little squares to make it look like a quilt, and then added the journal tab at the top. And then there's still a spot on the back to journal with. So today's going to be a little bit similar to that, except for we're going to use some washi tape in these altered index cards. And then we're also going to make the front of it look like a kind of like a bullet journal card. So in doing this, we are going to kind of get a 2-in-1. We're going to have our lined side over here, and then our little bullet journal points on this side. So let's get right into it. So just like last time, I'm starting with these index cards that are the 4 by 6 inch size. I'm just going to pull one out, and I want to make all my journal cards be 3 by 4. And since this is a 4 by 6, I'm just going to cut this down at 3 inches, and that's going to give me the 3 by 4 size that I want. And I'm also going to be able to get 2 out of each sheet again. Okay, so we got that. That's going to end up being this side. And then for the back side on this one, I've just chosen this color here. And I'm going to cut it really quick down to 3 by 4. And then I'm going to save those little pieces because I also want that to be my tab, and I think this size right here will be fine, so I'll put the other piece to the side. And then I'm going to bring some glue paper over because I want to attach this piece to this piece. Now once again, I'm going to be mindful of that red line at the top because I want that to be the top piece. So let's just glue this right on here. I'm just going to use the Pin and Gear glue stick. This seems to work pretty good for me. I've tried doing this part with the a liquid glue, and it really kind of makes my paper, my card, be kind of more bendy than I want it to be. Kind of like you can even tell already this is wanting to get the little curve bend to it, but the liquid glue really did that. So I solved that by, once I get this attached, let me show you. And apparently I didn't cut it exactly the same size, but that's okay because we're just going to trim up any edges. So once I get that glued like that, I just take my 2 fingers and I run it through. And I'll do that several times while it's drying. You'll just see me reach up and do that. That just kind of keeps it more straight for me. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this extra. Okay, so that was simple enough to get our back side, and then you can see a little white on this side, so I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, that's all nice and trimmed up now. So the next thing I want to do is, this is really more white than I want it to be. I kind of want it to have a soft color to kind of match the rest of the whole, be cohesive. So I'm going to bring in some Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this is in the tea dye, and I'm just using a little part of a sponge. And I'm just going to ink this really quick around the edges. Okay, and that just kind of gives that a little softer look. I like that. Set that to the side. And then I want to go ahead and make my tab that I'm going to put in the very center. On all of these this time I just went with the center, and for that I've got a tab punch that I'm going to use. If you don't have a tab punch, you can make your own. And if you go back and look at my previous video, I show you on there how to do that. Pretty simple. So for this particular punch, I just need to fold it in half. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little crease here. And then it gets put in with the folded side inward. And then I just give it a little punch. And we have a tab. I love this punch. It's one of my favorites for making little tabs. And then I'm going to just glue this piece right on. And for that I'm going to be using some Aleene's Tacky Glue. And guys, I just have this old, I think this is like a, I don't know if it was a baby jar from years ago. Oh, maybe it's a beef bouillon cube jar. I think that's what it was. And that's what I just store this in. I don't even put the lid on, but because it's upside down and in the little jar, it doesn't ever get clogged up. I don't hardly ever have a problem with it getting clogged up. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little glue here on each side. Nothing fancy. And then I want to put this right in the center. I'm going to flip that over. Center that up as much as I can by eyeballing it. A little bit of glue there. I'm just going to dab that because I don't want it smearing all over the place. Okay. I think that'll be all right. There's a little bit there you can see, but that's going to be covered with the washi tape. So I think that'll be okay. Okay, and the next step is I'm going to use one of these washi tapes. Let's see what color. Probably use maybe this lighter one here will be good. It'll show up better on the dark color. So let's do that. So, and a lot of times with my washi tape when I'm using it, I will just tear it off. Like here you can tell I did a little tear on it, you know how we do. But since I want this to be lining up on here with the edge, I want to make sure both sides have a straight edge on it. So I'm just gonna try to do a straight line. That wasn't too straight. Let's try that again. Not stick it. Okay. There we go, that's a little better straight line. And then I'm going to measure, just eyeballing, how far I want it to come out on each side. And I think about there where my thumb is will be good. So we'll do another cut there. All right. And now I'm just going to line this up right underneath where that tab is. Try to make both sides even, as much as you can. I mean, we're junk journaling in this stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect in my book, but I like it to be still looking nice. So let me grab next my little Jelly Roll pen. I am using the Jelly Roll number 10. I like the width of this one pretty well. And then I'm also going to be using this clear ruler. I can see through it well, and it really helps me to get my measurements a little better on this. So let's start on this side. And you can tell from that top part I didn't get it all the way straight, but that's all right. It will be just fine. So I'm going to stay kind of at the edge. I go a bit down, almost 3 inches on this. Do a little less than 3 this time because it's a little bit longer. And then I'm going to go slow with this pen, so it's really going to leave the ink on there. I've noticed when I go too fast that that's not a good white thick line. All right. Let's flip that around to this side. See if I can get a straight edge there. I normally like to let this kind of dry in between the lines so I don't get white on the paper. And it looks like I need to, I've got a little piece of scrap here. Sometimes I'll do that and kind of get it off the edges and make sure it's still going well. See, I didn't let that dry enough there, and I got a couple little dots, but that's okay. It'll be all right. So maybe I better not stick my whole ruler on and go from the bottom. That way I won't be touching it as much. Here we go. And I have done these where you just eyeball them too, and that works just fine. Right. So I am going to let that dry for just a minute here because I sure do not want that smearing all over with my hands on it as I'm trying to put the next lines on it. We'll go back in. I think it'll be okay. This stuff dries pretty quick, but sometimes not as quick as I want it to. Now I'm just going to go through, and I did about a 1/2 inch increments here. So with a 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Here's the 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Alrighty, and then I'm going to connect my lines up. I did do some of these with like a gold gel pen and a silver gel pen, but this white really seemed to show up better, I thought, so I just stuck with that. To that line. And just work our way down. Okay, and for the last little part on this, I just go through and do little circles. I make sure my pen doesn't have gunk on it. I just do little circles. You can do circles, you can do little squares, triangles. And really you don't have to do any at all, but even little hearts would be pretty here, but I just chose little circles. Okay, we're done with our gel pen. And then for the last part of this, all I'm going to do is use that same color of washi tape that I have. I'm going to flip this over and add it to the back just to kind of make it match up and give it just a little more to the front. And I'm leaving at the very bottom just a little bit of this color showing through. And then we'll just cut it off. It's just another great use for these index cards. And this time these will go great in little planners, I think. So if that's something you end up making, let me know down in the comments, or maybe let me know what your channel is. I'd love to come look. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again next time.